Hi, so this video will be rather casual, nothing important and kind of random. But have you ever thought, no way things could get worse, and somehow it does? So about 0.583 years ago, I had the chance to go to Paris. At the time, I was staying at my friend's house. He was living in a country that has blue, white and red color on its flag. Yes, you guessed it right. I was in the UK. I was there for my summer holiday, and one day he introduced a friend to me. After knowing him for just about 2 days, he suddenly asked, "Do you want to go to France? I have something I want to buy in Paris, but I missed the chance to buy it a few months ago." As a normal human being who had been taught not to go out with strangers that you have just met, my answer would of course be yes, because a friend of my friends is not a stranger. Duh. And just like that, friends we went. Everything is fine at first, and I have been actually learning French. So what could go wrong? In fact, my French is so good that you won't believe it. If you do not trust me, and you know how to speak French, just come closer and listen to what I'm about to say. If you don't speak French, then just invite a native French-speaking friend to come by and translate what I'm about to say. Je comprends pas. If your friend said, "I don't understand," then your friend would be right. My French is so good that it's even better than a native speaker at this point. So, with this in mind, what could go wrong? Usually, I can just talk things out with the locals if things goes wrong. And oh boy, everything went wrong. Because I had miscalculated. Bad luck, don't speak French. This happened on the last day. Exactly the last day. It all started with the first bad sign, the gate. I was heading to the airport in France, ready for my departure to UK. But there's just this one little issue. You see, we arrived at the airport using train. At first, everything was fine. We walked upstairs and I saw my friend walk past the gate. Soon after, I followed him with the same ticket that I got from the same vending machine that my friend used. But somehow, it didn't work. The gate wouldn't open. And after a while, I realized there were also a bunch of people who couldn't get through the gate. Everything should still be fine if there is staff around us. But I don't get it. We were at the airport, the place that has a lot of people pass by and don't speak French. And we were using the public transport. But somehow, the whole station did not have a single staff around. I do not recall ChatGPT being invented in last summer. The other who I mentioned before that also got stuck were walking around to find help too. In hindsight, what I should have done at that point was actually just climb over the gate because I actually bought the ticket. It just somehow didn't work. But I didn't do that. So what happened? According to my memory, I overheard one of the conversations that someone was having. He or she successfully found a staff. But the staff said he could do nothing about it. We need to go back to one of the previous stations to find help in the counter. So I did that. I hopped onto the train again just to go back. Everything should be fine because I gave myself extra time. This time, there was finally someone, a French lady at the counter. But guess what? You know how I have mentioned my French is so good that even the native will not understand me. So the obvious move was of course converse in English. Now then, that's the problem. The lady was not that good when it comes to English. After a few attempts at conversations, she decided maybe she should let me walk out the gate from this station. And here's the problem. Technically, the previous train station is still in the airport. It's just that the airport is so big that it has 2 train stations. I thought I can walk back to the original station. But then my friend called me and told me, "No, just buy another ticket and use the train again." I was like, "No. I already have bought the ticket. There was no way I'm going to waste more money. Plus, what if the ticket don't work again?" So, by trying to avoid the sunk cost fallacy, I didn't use any transportation. I used the Google map to walk from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2. And I realized it was kind of long. This was the route that Google suggests at that time. Something was kind of strange because it got cut off here. But I thought it's Google and it gave me an estimated time. So it should be fine. Then the race began. I still need to catch the flight. So I ran. According to Google image, this should be the things that I saw while I was running. I don't remember much honestly, other than the fact that I was trying to catch the flight. Wait. Guys, I ran so hard that I must have passed out. Or else, why would I forget what happened? I was basically Philippides who somehow survived. Okay, now is the turning point where one of the major things happened in the story. Remember that part of the map which got cut off on Google? So I arrived to that place and this was what I saw. Where is the road, Google? Where? But I still have a plane to catch, so I did the only thing I could. Wait. Let's say I hypothetically ran on the highway. It was an insane and brutal move. You basically need to ignore others who are looking at you inside of the car. But luckily, only a few seconds in, something from behind honked. It was a fan, and someone stopped next to me and asked, "Where do you want to go?" So, as a normal human being who had been taught not to hop on a stranger's van, the only logical things to do would of course be hop onto his van. Because by definition, stranger is someone you don't know, but I have already seen his face. And there's a reason why Philippides died and I didn't. So not long after I told him what happened and where I wanted to go, he said, "Money." Like implying giving him some money. But don't worry, he was just joking. Apparently, he was working at that time. I'm not sure was he delivering something or what, but I'm really glad that he helped. Thank you so much. This was his van. If you just so happen to help an Asian strangers in August near the Paris airport, I just want to say thank you. So I arrived. It was still early. I was not late for the plane. My friend was worried and thought that I was crazy because he remembered you could not walk from Terminal 3 to Terminal 2. But now everything should be fine. Right? We checked in and did all the things. Now I just had to wait. But then it was kind of strange. There was someone saying there might be a delay. Delay would still be fine, but I heard someone said the scary word, cancel. So things started to get uncertain. But there was no accurate announcement. The staff even told us to be in line for boarding. We were receiving mixed information, but when it was finally time on board, the truth was revealed. The plane was indeed cancelled. Like, how? The whole time while I was in London, it kept saying that it was one of the hottest summer because of global warming. And yet, it just so happened that, as the day I was planning to go back, there was heavy rain around one of the London's airport. And London has multiple airports. It just so happened the earth wanted to cool down a bit too much on the airport that I was heading to, causing my flight to be cancelled. So actually, I didn't have to worry about running to Terminal 2 to catch the flight, because there was no flight in the future anyway. And what followed was also messy. We needed to pass through the security gate again just to get out. Then, you need to pass through the security gate again just to check in if you successfully purchased a ticket to go to another airport in London. My friend at that time needed to go back to UK that day because he had something else to do. He didn't care how expensive the ticket price was. He flew away alone that night. But I thought I had time. I was not in an urgent position, so I tried to calculate all the possible options. Because apparently, the airline was willing to compensate for the disruption. They were willing to pay for the ticket price if you decide to change airline. If you choose to stay in Paris for a few more days, they were also willing to pay for the hotel price and the dinner, provided that you have the receipt. So my brain was free-head into the future, and thought, what if I stay in Paris for a few more days? But my fourth head said, What if something went wrong for the compensations too?
Sometimes foreshadowing is relatively obvious.
So I decided this time I should just play it safe. I just have to find a cheap flight and go back. And the thing was, as I was thinking about all my possible plans, all the restaurants in the airport were starting to close. And as time follows, I find out if I really wanted to get a cheap flight, not only would I have to wake up early, but also it was in another airport. If my memory is correct, I remember the train to go to that airport didn't work for 24 hours. So I had to hurry and decide. What ended up happening was, it was a waste of time to choose. I ended up buying a plane ticket that was roughly equally expensive as my friend. But the difference was, now I have to wait for one more day, plus I have no food for dinner. What's more, I was really scared that something would go wrong with the compensation, so I didn't choose to sleep in a hotel. I ended up just slept at the airport. It was not comfortable at all. I also walked back and forth in the airport and could only find food the next day morning. The funny thing is, if I am correct, the next day when I was back in London using the train, I met that friend again, accidentally. He was with his friend trying to find a place for lunch in London. Basically, a friend of my friend was with a friend of my friend's friend. So the finale. Remember the conversation part? This was their response.
We need additional information
I've
to
checked
review your
booking
query.
and would like to inform that due to technical issue, unfortunately, the claim has been declined. However, you're entitled to the expense claim.
And up until this day, I still haven't got my money back. I guess what I want to say is, EasyJet, give me back my money. So that's the end of the video. I'm not sure will some of the jokes fly over your head because some of them are in French, or some of them are not that apparent. I guess I will have to see the response. But speaking of flying, do you know that global warming is hurting the love life of albatross? Remember to save the earth, guys. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Bye.